Where now I did say a little bit earlier that I have another interview that I done with someone from The Queen is Mad, the musical that is in London at the moment, and it's incredible. Brian Raftery is from Galway. He is one of the main actors in the musical, but this is one of the tracks before I bring you the interview. This is Happy.
Oh, Joanna, I'm entranced. You're a vision, you're a pearl. I am overjoyed to take you as my wife.
Dearest Philip, I am charmed. You have set my heart awhile, and I promise I will love you all my life. For when the people cheer, long live Philip and Joanna, I know that I will never leave your side. So this is happy, this is kind, so this is love, this is hope, this is freedom.
See there, where the river winds away to the east across the lowlands? The White Palace with the golden dome.
It's beautiful.
That's home.
The people of Flanders give us a grand welcome. Everything is different here. The food, the customs, the trees, even the colour of the light in the sky. Philip says I'll get used to all of it. I'm secure on Philip's arm, I'm content in Philip's care, I am ardently adored in Philip's bed. I may hunt in Philip's woods, I may ride on Philip's mare, in his library I have left no book unread. And when the people cheer, long live Philip and Joanna, I feel my old anxiety subside. So this is happy, this is kind, so this is love, this is hope, this is freedom.
Oh, darling, don't wear that dress to dinner tonight.
Why not?
The Spanish fashions are so outdated. Why don't you wear the new dress I had made for you?
I like this one.
But you look so beautiful in the other dress. The amber satin brings out your eyes.
All right.
You don't want me to stop buying you dresses, do you?
All right. I'll change.
I'll help you.
I have noticed now and then an impatience when he speaks, and his handsome features seem to fall apart. There's a shadow in his eyes, there's a redness in his cheeks, and I feel a creeping tension in my heart.
There. You look wonderful.
But when the people cheer, long live Philip and Joanna, he looks at me with tenderness and pride. Is this happy? Is this kind? Oh, is this love? Is this hope? Is this freedom? This is happy.
This is happy.
This is kind. Oh, this is love. This is hope. This is freedom. Yes, this is love. This is hope. This is freedom.
Brian Raftery, I suppose, thank you so much for joining me on this amazing musical theatre special. How are you?
I'm very well. Thank you so much for having me, Lauren.
You're very, very welcome. I suppose, first off, tell us a little bit about yourself. You're living in London at the moment, but you grew up here in Ireland. How did you get that musical theatre bug?
So I started doing musical theatre when I think I was about 6 or 7. So I'm from Mulla, in just a parish in between Loughrea and Ballinasloe, and one of my best friends from school was doing this thing called Loughrea Youth Theatre, and his mother suggested, oh, Brian might love that actually, so do you want to give it a go? So I started. It was this youth theatre in Loughrea started by Paul and Philip Short, and yeah, we had a show every summer and a kind of variety concert every Christmas, and I was doing that until I was about 17. And yes, and that's just kind of just started it all off for me. Then I went to Cork to do a bachelor's in music and piano, and then that inevitably took me to London to do my MA in musical theatre in the Royal Academy of Music. So yeah, just that all kind of started with that moment.
So did you look up to anybody in particular, or was there musicals that you kind of got inspiration for to audition for, or was there someone that you, I suppose, Wicked. Admired?
It was Wicked, which is actually fairly... I think everyone knows what that is at this point. Yeah, I went. Myself and my friend who actually got me into it. Him and his father went out to London, and we went and saw Wicked in the West End, and that was the first kind of big production I ever saw. And mother of God, it blew me away. So I think that was always a part of me, just like, oh yeah, I'll be there at some point.
Have you ever been in Wicked?
No, not yet.
No, not yet. Exactly. Yes is the key word.
Oh, absolutely, not yet.
Before we get into The Queen is Mad and the role you play, you've been in some amazing productions here in Ireland and the UK. Tell us a little bit about them.
So I think my first one that kind of just, it was the first big kind of budget thing was was still with Lockyer Theatre, was Beauty and the Beast. Yeah, they cast me as playing the Beast, which was an incredible experience, because just for such a small youth theatre and such a small in a town in Galway, I don't know how they managed to get the funding they did, but it was just the most extravagant production I've ever been. There was pyro, the costumes. That was the very first thing that kind of just, it always stands to mind when I think about how I got started in the whole thing. It was just such an incredible performance. And then after that, it ended up being, I did Joseph in the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat in the Everyman Palace, in the Everyman Theatre in Cork, which was an absolutely incredible experience.
And you played Joseph in that. That's huge.
That was great. Yeah, it was absolutely. We did that with Montfort's School of Performing Arts. Yeah, that was just incredible. It was a full band, massive, gorgeous theatre, and the Dreamcoat itself was class. And then after that was, my next biggest thing was playing Toby and Sweeney Todd in Theatre Royal in Stratford, which is one of my absolute all-time favourite shows. So I was blessed to be able to play that. A very intense show, but incredible piece of work.
Have you got a dream role that you have your sights set on? Maybe not Fiyero and Wicked just yet. No,
but to be honest, I can dream about Fiyero, but I'm Bach without a shadow of a doubt. I unfortunately I haven't hit the 6 foot mark, so.
No.
Oh well, Bach's more fun than Fiyero anyway. Dream role, that, to be honest, I'm going to be honest, that changes week to week. It all depends on what I'm listening to, but Come From Away is the one that I think, that's not even a particular role, but Come From Away is just one show that I always think that is my dream show to perform in. It's just a beautiful show. The music is very Irish influenced because of just emigration. A lot of that kind of style, that sound in Newfoundland and that part of Canada is very, very Celtic influenced, and it's just such a fun show and such a gorgeous storyline. That's the show that, if I could choose any show, that would be the one I'd be in.
And I suppose as you moved over to London a couple of years ago, but tell us a little bit about the audition experiences that you've had over in London from other people that I know. It's quite difficult to get the auditions. Have you had any bad experiences, or tell us about some great experiences that you've had over there?
To be honest, I'm quite lucky with I haven't actually had any really bad audition experiences. Just again, every time I've gone into a room, the panel has always been actually very welcoming. It's very intense. Like, I mean, you have if you get a callback, like sometimes you can get the material you need for the callback could be given to you about the day beforehand, so it can be very intense and it can be very bit last minute. Yeah, I've actually been very lucky with all my experiences and auditions that they've always been very friendly. It's just, I think the hardest part is just taking the rejection, but it's just a case of it's never a personal thing. Most of the time it's just a case of you weren't right, you just have to take that on the chin and just go on and just keep trying. That's all I can really say when it comes to the audition process over here. It can be very hard, but it's just all about that self-belief and just having to keep going and just keep going to each audition.
How did The Queen is Mad come about?
So that is personally, it's a very, very bit of a mad story. So after lockdown, I kind of stopped. I got a quite bad performance anxiety singing wise after lockdown, just because being in a flat and I can't really be able to practice. I just kind of dipped out of it for about 2 years. Last August, I was working a pub that I work in. It's a completely chance meeting because I actually stayed an hour later than I normally would have on that day, and our quiz host was depping out. It was someone else who turned out I'd actually met him about 5 years previous. He came in an hour early, so pure stars are aligning kind of thing here. He is that man's name is Joe O'Neill. He's the founder of the Irish Creative Collective, this incredible collective in London for Irish artists, whether it be stand-up or musicians or writers or anything. And we ended up getting to talking, and he was asking me, so what have you been at? And I told him I haven't really been doing much. And he goes, are you a tenor? I went, I am, yeah. And he goes, I have something for you next week. And then he just walked away and started the quiz. And I went, what in the name of God was that? And then next thing you know, I get a message from him saying we're doing a few days later saying the Irish Creative Collective has a monthly variety night, and the final segment is always musical theatre. And he had 2 writers and 2 cast members, and they just needed one more person. And I kind of just got thrown into the deep end, and then we did the showcase. And that was for The Queen is Mad, when it was just a half an hour little workshop kind of thing, just a small little showcase.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, about 9 months later, it's been fully fledged into an hour-long show. And Amy and Tom, the writers, sent me a message saying, would you like to come back and do the role again? Next thing you know, there we are, actually performing at Off West End.
That's insane. That's mad.
Yeah, actually from doing that, I've got, you end up meeting more people, especially these networking nights, and I've probably done more work in the last year than I have in the 9 years I've been here. And that's purely thanks to, I always big up Joe, because the fact that he's just become such a massive part in my life and in Tom and Amy's life as well. He's always pushing people and trying to connect people. So I always do tend to big up Joe and Neil.
And you play Philip in The Queen is Mad. Now, I got a little insight on what the show is about from Tom's perspective, but as an actor, can you tell us what the show is about and what your role entails?
The Queen is Mad is about Queen Joanna of Castile. Her parents were the ones who pretty much started the Spanish Inquisition, and she was constantly being pushed to the side because she was very outspoken in all her beliefs. As a way to kind of keep Joanna quiet, they married her off to Philip of Flanders as a way to just kind of get her out of Castile, stop her being so outspoken. While the marriage started off very well, the true side of Philip really started to come out. Very manipulating, very gaslighting, tried to control every single thing that he possibly could with her to keep her quiet and keep her down. The beauty of the show is the fact that that's still issues that are so common, like in today's world. So the beauty of the show is pretty much her saying, when a lot of things transpire, she inevitably inherits the crown, and then suddenly all of the power that Philip had is suddenly gone. It's purely about, it's a show just about Joanna just taking back control, taking back her life, and things happen then after that. So it sounds like it's going to be a very happy story. It doesn't. But I have to leave something for people to come listen to.
So you play like a very, very intense role. Like it's a very strong male character.
Different to every other role I've ever gotten.
I was going to say very different to Joseph. Very different to Joseph.
Yeah, just a little bit. Just a little bit. Normally get the characters are just going. Every time he comes on stage, you're like, oh, it's this guy again. Lovely. Now I was doing a show where, oh God, it's this guy again.
And what was your favourite part of the being in the process from start to finish?
The cast that I was working with, I've never been in such a lovely collaborative room. Natasha Holbriggs and Alan Vickery, just the two of them have just been. I was just watching the two of them in the dressing room, because Alan has been doing the circuits for donkeys. Natasha is one of the most incredible performers I've ever come across in my life. She's currently touring with the Rocky Horror Show. She's playing Magenta, and she's one of the most incredible vocalists, incredible performers I've ever worked with. But despite their talent and despite everything, they're just the most humble people. And especially for me, who's still kind of working my way to that level, they were just so easy to work with. Any questions I had, they were always there to help. It was just such a lovely room to work in, and it was such a great experience.
That's what I was going to ask. How was it? What was it like to work beside Alan, who has been in like West End shows, Kinky Boots and Phantom of the Opera? Like how was that experience with him?
I could listen to that man talk for hours. He has story after story, but none of it, again, like I said, none of it's coming from a place of arrogance. None of it's coming from a place of ego. He's aware he is incredibly talented, but it's never a case of, oh well, I'm able to do this because I'm class. Yeah. It's just purely humble and just a lovely person to speak to, lovely person to talk to, and he always made a point to say, if you have any questions, if you need answers, just let me know.
And finally, I suppose this is just a very out of the blue question. What is your favourite musical theatre song of all time?
Oh God. I'd say the one that's immediately popping straight to mind is Me in the Sky from Come From Away. It's not even a male song, it's just one that every time I listen to, I just get chills every single time. It's just such a beautifully written song.